So good morning, everyone. So let's get started with today's session. And again, we are into subject of magnetic field. So what we have done so far, basic formula for magnetic field due to small element, then the straight element and circular element only at the center. So today, using Biot-Savart formula, we will find the field at a point on the axis of the circular loop, not only center, at a point on the axis of the circular loop. So this is circular loop here, and let's assume the circular loop is placed in a plane. Let's call that as YZ plane. We want to find out, and its center is at the origin. So x-axis is the axis of the circular loop here, and let's assume some direction. So this is the back side. So if you look at that, if this is the front end and this is the back end. If I look from here, how would the current look like? In this, if I curl my fingers will curl like this. Okay. If fingers curl like this, thumb will point in this direction. So basically what we understand, if I follow right hand thumb rule, the field should come in this direction. Okay, so before we get started, can someone think of what method we'll use to find out field at a point on the axis of circular loop? Okay, it does something similar elsewhere. Finding field on the axis of circular charge.
The components.
Components, and the symmetry also will come into picture. So we will take the components, then we find if we take a pair of components, a pair of current elements, diametrically opposite pair of elements, we find the perpendicular component here cancels out and axial component only remain, and resultant field is going to be integration of axial component. And there also you'll find it becomes very simple. It's just adding a theta kind of thing. So we have some idea how you'll catch it up, and same figure you have to draw on something else in horizontal plane. It will look like this. Current is in this direction. So we understand field is going to be in this particular direction. So here, suppose before we get started, so get to another perspective here. Suppose I take a small element here. Which is the element? This is a small element. This is the direction. Which point I want to find out field? I want to find out field at this point. So where is the angle theta? So I need to connect R. R angle is this R vector here. So this is dl vector along the tangent to the circle. R vector is running like this. What is angle between dl vector and R vector here? This is angle between dl and vector and R vector. How much is that angle? At any point on the circular ring, angle between dl vector and R vector is 90 degree. So if I draw a plane like this is something, this plane is, if any line in this entire plane is perpendicular to this small element. And so whenever we take for all small element, the angle between dl vector and r vector is going to be 90 degree. That's one important point to be understood, because some people start thinking and get confused. But let's get started doing this. So what we understand, we will take diametrically opposite pair of a small current element. And so if we take one element here, and whatever length this has, and other element also we take of the same length. So when we take the same length, both elements, because of symmetry, magnitude, one creates a field dB, other also will create the field of the same magnitude. Let's try and understand the direction. If this is the element, this is the r vector. So we all know this r vector we have taken in such a way it lies in the plane of the drawing. We know the field has to be perpendicular to r vector. So if r vector, if this angle is theta, the field due to this element also make an angle theta with the vertical. The field could have been downwards or it could have been upward. There are only two directions possible perpendicular to r vector. Since we know already the field is going like this in this resultant field, so it cannot be downwards, but that would have given a field towards left. So which direction the field will be? Field is towards right like this. So what is the field? Let's write the expression for field using the same formula. Constant term I into length of the element sine theta, angle between a small element. So if I take, so this would be something like a dl vector if I draw the tangent to this, and this angle between them will be 90 degree. So sine theta will be 1 and r square will be the distance. So if r is the radius of the circle, x is the distance of the point where field is to be calculated, square of the distance is r square plus x square. So it's a simple substitution. Field is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I into dl divided by r square plus x square. But when you take what we understand from here very easily, what will happen? Which term will add up? The vertical components will cancel out, or cos theta components will cancel out, and axial component will add up. So due to symmetry, perpendicular components cancel out. Axial component, which is dB sin theta, will add up. So if I take one small element, what is the axial component due to small element of length dl? Axial component is mu naught by 4 pi I into dl r square y square. What is this term added here? Sin theta. What is sin theta? Sin theta is this side divided by this side, and that becomes r divided by root of r square plus x square. And if we have to add up the resultant for all, we are not adding perpendicular components because they are going to cancel out. These are the axial components, and we add it up. So if we integrate, which term will change before we start integrating? Suppose I have to take the integration of this term. Which term is x a constant here? X is a constant. X is
Yes,
constant.
sir. R is also constant.
R is constant. And nothing is varying here.
We have to multiply by length of the.
Yes. Only thing we have to add up. What is the variable term here? So dl. So all small dls we keep adding up. Okay. When we add a small dl, what does it come to? It gives nothing but perimeter of the circle. So what is dl is equal to nothing but 2 pi r. Okay, so that's what the very simple. So this is something very easily you can straight away think of this following. This is nothing but axial component of field, or this is the component of field along the axis of the circular loop. And we add up all the axial component, we get the resultant field. So in place of dl, we write 2 pi r into r, and we get term. This is what is I noticed this term pi r square. What is pi r square? That's area of the loop. So I can write as 2 into I into area. And this term we come to like this, and we give a special name to this, current into area. And this current into area is called magnetic dipole moment. And we'll see later some more about the dipole. This is the first time we are calling something as magnetic dipole moment. Any current carrying loop is a magnetic dipole moment. What is that magnetic dipole? Any current carrying loop is a magnetic dipole moment. And it's a vector just like electric dipole. What is magnitude? I into A. Okay. And if I substitute this one, what I find, the expression becomes equal to mu naught by 2m, 4 pi, 2m divided by r cube, if the distance, if x is large. So if the distance is, okay, not x cube, I should have written x cube. Have you seen this expression before?
Yes.
Sorry, 2m by r cube, r being what? R cube is nothing but inclined distance. When the distance become large, when this is very far, r and x become almost equal. So for large distance, it can be written as mu naught by 2m by 4 pi x cube. Have you seen a similar formula elsewhere?
On the axis of dipole.
Axis of dipole.
Yes,
So what we find exactly it matches. The field due to magnetic field due to current carrying coil is identical to, at a large distance, is identical to field due to electric dipole. And that's why the name also we call it as a magnetic dipole. That I think you get some because of similarity. So there also the nature of field get created by electric dipole. Field gets created due to magnetic dipole, which is a field created by circular loop is similar to that, and not only circular loop. It is also found whenever we take a loop of any shape, which having carrying current, that behaves like a dipole. And what is the direction of the dipole moment? Can you figure out what is the direction of m vector here? Everything is right hand thumb rule only. What is the direction of dipole moment? It is in the direction of electric field. So we can say the direction of dipole is same as direction of electric field, and similar to in case of magnetic dipole, any point on the axis, if I take the direction of field, everywhere the direction of field will be same. The direction of field on the axis of dipole does not change. That's the direction of dipole. So all this property follows similar to electric dipole. There's only one small difference I'll see later. Okay. So what is M? M vector is a current into area, or any current carried loop is a magnetic dipole. Dipole deal will in several steps. There also we had some 5 properties of electric dipole. Here also we'll deal with 5 properties one by one. So today, first time we are coming about magnetic dipole, which is current into area. And what is the direction? By right hand thumb rule. So if we curl our fingers along the direction of current, the direction of thumb will give me the direction of magnetic dipole moment. So this is R cube and X cube, and very similar. And so we'll look at, so that's the definition we can think of. For any current loop is a magnetic dipole with magnitude equal to, what is this term N here? Current into area is fine. But if there are number of turns are there, so it is bound into number of turns, N being the number of turns. And the direction is given by the right hand thumb rule. Fingers curling along the direction of current. Then the direction of thumb gives the direction of dipole moment. Okay. So is this also what we see here? Is this a dipole? Yes. So how would my fingers curl? If I curl my fingers in this fashion, if I curl my fingers along the direction of current, what I find, my thumb will point upwards. This is the direction thumb will point. So what is the direction of here also? What is the direction of dipole moment? Vertically upwards. So only thing what we happen, other thing we can understand, how does field vary? I think in terms of a given dipole, we can say field varies as what? I can field varies as 1 by cube of, field varies as 1 by r cube. What is r? Well, how do we call r as? What is r here? Not the distance. We can call as inclined distance or slant distance. And this is not an approximation. So r, this varies as r cube, but for a larger distance, b is proportional to 1 by x cube.
X cube.
Okay, so here by the numerator, there's no approximation. That's what here, and there's some very simple question based on this. So let's look at those very simple applications of the same. And these are some of the questions. So all of you read the question, and this is fairly easy to solve. So what is the formula we had? Again, let's look at, I think this in the previous page, we forget now once it goes to previous page. What is the formula we had for magnetic field on the axis of a circular loop? We had formula was mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube. Is this formula also valid for x is equal to 0? Is for x. Is it valid for x is equal to 0? So what was r cube here? It was something like this, mu naught by 4 pi, r being the inclined distance. So what is r equal to? It was written as, it can be written as r square, radius of the loop, and it's a distance from the center into raised to power 3 by 2. What happens when x is equal to 0? Does it come to the same formula? Yes, of course it comes to the same formula. So it is valid even at the center, it has to be. It has valid at all distances. When we write this formula, it is valid at all distance. Only when we write as x cube, it is valid for large distance. This is carrying current I. So, so when it is, okay, let's try and understand what this figure is. Okay, so this is a fairly simple question. There's a current carrying loop, and the field at its center is B. So when field at the center, what is value of x? X is equal to 0, and r is equal to r. That's the distance of the point from the any point on the circular loop. That's the first point. The distance from the center on the axis of coil where magnetic field will be equal to B by 8. So if this point is B, what we need to find, what is the distance of the, let the distance be x, and here the field is equal to, how much is it? B by 8. Okay. So we'll use this similar formula. So what is B at R is equal to, so B at, yep, so B1. So what is this case? B1 by B2, B is proportional to R inclined distance. What will B1 by B2 equal to? B1 by B2 will be equal to R2 cube by
R1.
R1 cube. What is R1? R1 is simple. R1 is equal to radius. And what is R2 equal to? R2 is equal to radius square plus x square. So that is fairly easy to solve. So let's put those values. So okay, maybe I could write B2 by B1. So if we inverse this one, so B2 by B1 is very simple question. It becomes 1 by 8. It means the distance has to be how many times?
8 times.
What? No, it becomes r has to be equal to, this distance has to be equal to 2r. If the distance becomes, inclined distance becomes twice, the field becomes 1/8. So in time, this is 2r, this is r. Very easily we can find this is equal to root 3r. So pretty simple one. And let's look at a few more simple ones. So what are things given? R is given. X is given as 8 centimeter. So what is my inclined distance? Inclined distance is given as 10 centimeter. If inclined distance is 10 centimeter, my field will be equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2m divided by r cube. Rest all is simple substitution. You can easily find this is equal to 10 to power minus 7. And what is this m term here equal to NIA? this wire carrying current is bent form of a circle. So how many loops? There's only one loop here.
One loop.
Okay. And what is the current? Current is given. And area is also there. We simply substitute, we get our answer. An answer, I think, pi term we don't have to cancel. We simply find an answer. So this question is pretty simple application of formula. Let's look at this. How many times the distance has to be compared to radius? If the field becomes 5 this many times, this is also fairly simple.
Yes, sir.
See, it becomes 5 root 3 times. It means the distance has to be root 5 times of the radius.
Yes, sir.
Root 5 times, easily get an answer. So these are fairly simple questions to solve. Straight application of formula, and once we understand, and this formula we must keep in mind. Always remember this. This is the third formula we have in this chapter. We had formula so far for arc of a circle, straight element, and this is the third formula. And we understand what is R. R is the inclined distance, and M is magnetic dipole moment. Its magnitude is equal to NIA, and its direction is given by right hand thumb rule. Okay, and a similar question. This also you can, all of this I think so simple, you can do it in your mind. At a distance of root 3r, how much? They're pretty simple questions. The x value is given here. So what will the slant distance? X value is given as root 3r. This is given as r. So slant distance becomes twice as much. If it is twice, the t will become 1/8 times. So pretty simple questions. So this we had done yesterday. Okay. So this was so far what we had done was application of Biot-Savart law. Similar to electrostatics, we had one more law, Gauss law. And if you try to recall, do you recall what is in concise form? How do we express Gauss law? Use something like this. What is the term used to write here? What is Gauss law here? Huh?
Closed integral.
No, E dot dA. No, so it is what we call as it was what we call a surface integral over a closed surface. Now this indicated closed surface, and since we are integrating not over a length, we are integrating over an area. So this term was equal to surface integral. And which surface we used to call that surface as Gaussian surface. It was so electric Gauss law is surface integral of resultant electric field over a closed surface. It is something similar, but not very similar. There is some similarity and there's some dissimilarity. So here it was integrated over a surface. Here it is integrated over a loop. So it is integrated over a length, not the area vector, length vector. So rather than taking a closed surface, here we take a closed loop, and we can call it as Amperian loop. So whenever you have to apply Ampere's law, first let's understand the law. So any loop we take, so this is a loop we have taken, and loop has to be a closed loop. We cannot, and I hope all of you understand closed loop. So then after having closed loop, we assign a sense of direction. So since this also dot and directions involved, two vectors involved, we have to give some sense of direction. And most cases what we'll do, we can take a, okay, so if we sense of direction, we can give either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Suppose what again, most cases we can choose as anti-clockwise. If I choose an anti-clockwise direction, what will the direction of area vector if this is anti-clockwise right hand thumb rule? Which direction will my thumb point if I take it anti-clockwise? If I may curl my fingers in this direction, thumb will be pointing away from you or towards you?
Away.
Your thumb will point away. How is, show me your thumb?
Towards.
Towards. You have ulta thumb? No. Right hand thumb. Okay. So when we have anti-clockwise, we get sense of direction. So area vector will be based on right hand thumb. So which means if I choose anti-clockwise, what will be this? Which direction will be this direction will be positive. So what is positive direction depends on what I have taken which anti-clockwise or clockwise sense. So we take sense, and we could have taken anti-clockwise or clockwise, but unless it is mentioned otherwise, we can always take anti-clockwise as positive. In that case, dot will be positive. Okay, we do that. And then if the direction is chosen to be clockwise, the direction of area vector will be into. If direction of change is anti-clockwise, it will be out of. Okay, so in this particular case, let's say we take if we take clockwise, so let's do if it is clockwise, this is clockwise, which will be positive in this case? Cross is positive. Now what we do in this case, so the line integral, so what is the law here? This is a statement of law. The line integral of which field? Why were resultant magnetic field used here? We have used similar term in case of electrostatic or field loss also. So field is not due to one current element. Field is due to all current
charges.
No, all current elements.
All
So
current
line integral of resultant magnetic field along the closed curve. So there we take a closed surface along the closed curve. So when we take line integral, two vectors involved. One is B vector, another is length vector. So if I take clockwise, if I take a small element, what is the direction of length vector? Length vector will be like this. So that's why the choice of sign is important. So line integral of resultant magnetic field along a curve, closed curve is equal to mu naught times the net current passing through the area enclosed by the curve. So when we have curve, this is the area it is enclosed. This is the part which is, this is the area which is inside the curve. And what is the current enclosed here? So just let's write the expression. So this is in form of words. Let's state in terms of a mathematical expression. So why there's a circular sign here? So this is B dot dl. So what we notice here is a line integral. It's not a surface integral. It's a line integral of magnetic field and along dl vector. And dl vector, we can choose whichever direction we want. We can choose as positive. We can choose clockwise as positive. We can take anti-clockwise as positive. And if depending on clockwise and anti-clockwise, the positive sign also area vector will change. So B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. So it is equal to net current. What is the meaning of net current here? And current enclosed. So what you find here, what are the currents here? Let's look at what is the current, how many current elements are seen here? In this particular, 5 current elements are there. So first of all, field is due to all 5 elements. How many currents enclosed? Only 3 of them are enclosed. When I take, one is the dot indicates this current element is directed towards you, this is directed away from you. This is out of the page, this is into the page. So when I take this one, if I am taking B dot dl in this along, so basically dl vector is taken positive in this direction. If I take clockwise, which direction was to be taken to be positive? This was to be positive. So in this case, which current element, which current will be taken as positive? The one which are along the direction of area vector. The cross will be taken as positive and dot will be taken as negative. And only 3 of them. Other 2 are outside, they will not come into equation. So this, when we apply, what is the net current enclosed? Net current enclosed is the one which are enclosed. Which one is taken positive, which is negative? The positive negative will depend on which sense we have taken positive for line integral. If we are taken clockwise for line integral, the cross current will be taken as positive. If we are taken anti-clockwise as sense here, in that case, dot would become positive. So in this figure, I1 and I2 will be positive and I3 will be negative. So if I have to complete this equation, I write this equation as mu naught. I3 will be negative, it will be I1 plus I2 minus I3. So that's a fairly simple law. Anybody has any question on the law application?
Sir, if we take clockwise or anti-clockwise, what will be the direction of field, sir?
I mean, but see, direction of field won't change. What will happen? See, just suppose this is a force and A to B. See, if this force is there, force is a vector. So if I have displacement from A to B, work done may be positive. But if I reverse the direction of a displacement vector, what happens to dot product?
Be negative.
Negative. So whatever line integral I have in the clockwise direction, if I take anti-clockwise direction, line integral sign will change. Is making sense? See, direction of B is something fixed. That direction of B doesn't change based on what you take as clockwise, what you take anti-clockwise. So if I take B dot dl in clockwise direction, if again I calculate B dot dl in anti-clockwise direction, the line integral will be exactly negative of this.
Sir, B vector is in the plane, right?
Yes. Now, B vector, it may not necessarily be in the plane. Even if it is not in the plane, is it not possible to say basically theoretically whatever is always at a particular point, since I am taking several small elements, at a point B will have some direction. It may be in the plane, it may not be in the plane. Okay, even if it is not in the plane, it will make some angle with the DL vector. And if I know how to calculate B, that's theoretical. But can we use and apply it in practical cases? No. Similar to Gauss law, where do we use Ampere law? Only in case of symmetry. So where do we use? Either theta is 0, theta is 90, or theta is 180. These are the only three cases we'll apply. Other cases becomes too complicated. So where do we use Ampere law? We use only in case of symmetry. Other cases, if it is, can it be not in the plane? Yes, it is possible. You can choose a loop. Suppose even it is a place, is it possible? You can choose a loop which is not in the same plane. You can choose a different loop. So there's no, it's not mandatory that B vector will lie of the loop. And loop can be taken as, loop need not be in plane. Loop also can be what you may call as, it may not lie in a plane. So just to give an example. So in case of Amperean loop, it has to be a closed surface. It has to be open surface. Many times we other thing what we use, what has to be in case of Ampere, open surface. And whenever we have open surface will have a loop. Open surface will always have a loop. Let's try understand in case of one example. Suppose I take a cylinder which is open at the top. Had it been closed at the top, it would have closed a closed surface. So this one is open at the top. So is it an open surface or closed surface?
Open.
Open surface. And can you mark the boundary of this open surface? Any open surface will have a boundary. Think of any open surface with a boundary. What is the boundary of the open surface? This is the boundary of the open surface. Can this be taken? So this also, if I take, so when we take net gas current passing through the area, in this cases, what is the area? All the, okay, I think this part I will deal with later. Because we don't use it much. It is useful only when we go to application of Maxwell law. So maybe more appropriate definition of Ampere law is not a loop. What we have to take? We have to take an open surface. Okay, you understood what is open surface? Any open surface will have a loop. So when we apply this line integral of magnetic field along the closed curve, it will have closed curve is equal to net current passing through the area enclosed by the curve. What is the area enclosed by the curve? Not the entire circular surface. I can assume the surface to be like a cylinder. It has a bottom circular surface and side curved surface. So current may be passing like this. So in that case, yes, even this also, but if it is passing through and current may be passing, some current is going like this. In that case, what you get, the current is entering but not leaving the surface. So that is little more variation that is not necessary in this chapter. But I'm just giving an telling that this is a slightly easier version of more correct definition of Ampere law. Any open surface, for one point only, any open surface will have a loop. And this is meant for a line integral along a loop is equal to mu naught times current enclosed by the surface. Yes, Allah.
So what does the line integral even represent? Sir?
Why does line integral?
What does it represent?
Okay. So you suppose what does work done represent? No, so just think of it. Just suppose I'm just relating to dot product. One dot product we are more familiar with. Which dot product we are more familiar with? Work done. No, so suppose there's a mass which is moved along the curved path, and I'm pulling with some force F. Okay, and force always makes an angle theta from the horizontal, and this mass is moved along this path. So when I move from A to B, what is work done by the force? How would you calculate work done by this force from A to B? Alad, how would you calculate work done? If orientation and so F is constant. If F is constant, what is work done by F? It is constant in magnitude as well as direction. How would you calculate this work done? Alad?
We take dot product of F.
It's a dot product. So what we'll do, we'll divide into several small elements. And what is that? When you divide and add it up, what is that one? That's nothing but line integral of force and this path. But if the path is following a closed loop, the work done would have become what? So suppose take another example. Another example is you have a circle, and on the circle there's a ring here, and apply a force F on the ring. F force is always making an angle theta from here. So when the ring moves here, I still am angle F is making an angle theta. So if this ring completes one full circle of radius r, can you calculate what is the work done by this force F here? How to calculate work done? Is the method here and here are same or different? What was the work done here? So here also we'll take work done over a small displacement, and we add it up. And what is then? Again, that also is a dot product of force and small displacement. And if the dot product is done over a path which forms a closed loop, it becomes a line integral over a closed curve. So this is closed curve means line integral is pretty simple. Line integral is, see, if at this point this field is B. So how do you find out what is the line integral over this small element dl? I'll take this length dl. If I take clockwise, this will be the direction of dl vector. If this particular point I find out field is B and this angle is theta, so line integral over this small element is B dl cos theta. And if I keep adding this one at all points, what is necessary if I have to calculate this line integral at all points? At all points, B value has to be known. Then only it can be calculated. So what is necessary condition to evaluate line integral? At all points on the line, on the curve, value of B should be known in magnitude as well as direction. Then I can take a small element. But if a curve is so simple that everywhere B is tangential to the path, then it becomes easy. Theta becomes 0, theta becomes 90, and theta becomes 180. So we will do only in case of theta, but mostly it is applied in case of symmetry, where this integral dot product, if theta becomes 0, 90, or 180, it is easy to evaluate. It need not be written in dot product form. Then in that case, I write it B dl cos theta, and cos theta, if it is 1 or something, it becomes easy to evaluate. So what does line integral indicate? I think line integral, this term itself tells you what is line integral. It's a dot product between magnetic field and a small element along the path. If we add up that dot product along the all small elements in a loop, that's my line integral over a closed loop. So line integral, yes.
So what is with respect to what will you take the magnetic field, sir?
Where from the magnetic field is coming? Now, this magnetic field is not with respect to anything. Magnetic field is what is creating magnetic field here? You in the figure, where from the
point in the plane or due to the whole?
No, see, magnetic field is always defined at a point. So if I have to calculate what is the line integral for this small element, how would I calculate line integral at this small element? First of all, why I'm taking a small element here? Because magnetic field may change. And if I take a small element over a small element, magnetic field may be constant. So will magnetic field, how do we calculate, suppose just think of electric field. Electric field perhaps is a little easier to visualize here. Suppose there was charge Q1 and Q2 are there. How would you calculate electric field at this point? No, you will use the formula, but we have to have the knowledge how if there are two charges present, I will calculate field due to each charge and take the resultant. That's electric field. Similar way, if there are different current elements present, suppose all of them are infinite elements, then it becomes easy. If they are infinite element, if I take plane which is perpendicular to the current element, then everywhere the field will lie in the plane of in that plane itself. And we can look at some application and then we come back, see if it is not clear. Okay. Let's take simpler case. So how do you apply? And perhaps this gives you some idea. Field due to a long straight wire at point P at a distance r. Assume that we don't know what is the formula for magnetic field due to infinite straight wire. Okay, so this is a straight wire. Which direction? It is going up, particularly upward direction. I want to find field at point P, which is a distance r from the infinite current element. What is first step here? Similar to Gauss law, what should be my first step to find electric field at magnetic field at point P? I have to take a loop. Which loop I should take? Of course, the loop must pass through, and I should take loop in such a way that all points in the loop, either the field. Okay, so what kind of loop I should take? This also line element forms a cylindrical symmetry. So what kind of current loop? I think it makes obvious sense. I will take a loop which is perpendicular, which is concentric with this current element, and plane of the loop is perpendicular to the loop, and loop should pass through point P. So that's the loop I take. And I think that is not so difficult to visualize. That's a loop which should be taken, which is easy to evaluate. What is the loop we have taken? Passing through point P with the current wire as its axis. What is the area it encloses? Encloses circular area. So if I look from the top, how would this figure look like? If I may place myself here, how would this figure look like? How would the current element look like? A point. It will look like a, owing to symmetry, it will look like a current element will look like a point. This is the point where I want to find out magnetic field, and this is R. Okay, so if I had taken this loop, now if I have to calculate BDL, what I need to do, I have to divide this loop into small pieces. And each point I need to know what the field is. So let's take, suppose this is a point here. If I want to calculate B dot DL over this element, first I define DL. Okay, and let me choose which direction I'm taking loop positive, this direction I'm taking positive. DL direction, I have decided which direction I will go around the loop. I will go around the loop or I will traverse the loop in anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise, yes.
So this, what is the direction of DL vector? This becomes my direction of DL vector.
Tangent.
Okay, and what is the direction of B here? Because of symmetry, you can assume if this point anywhere field is B here, here also will B because all points are symmetrically placed. All points, if this point field is B, here also B, everywhere B, and owing to symmetry, B will be tangential. If B is tangential, angle between DL vector and if B also in the same direction becomes 0, and it is easy to evaluate. So it becomes easy to evaluate only when there is a symmetry, not otherwise. Okay, so let's do that one. What would the, how it, let's first time we apply Ampere's law. So we have chosen what is necessary to apply Ampere's law. There has to be a loop. And since we are interested in finding at point P, the loop must pass through point B. And to make our task simple, we have chosen a circular loop with axis being its center. Now, can we calculate B dot DL over this loop? Consider anti-clockwise is positive. What I have taken anti-clockwise is positive. If anti-clockwise is positive, dot is positive. So how I go DL vector everywhere. So if I take a DL vector here, which direction will be positive? The DL vector will be positive in this direction. If I take this small DL, this direction will be positive. I have taken, so this one, I'm going to move in the anti-clockwise direction. So then angle between DL and corresponding B will be 0. If this is the B direction and this is the DL direction, not only at this point, any small element I choose, everywhere angle between them is 0. So that it becomes easy to evaluate. If angle becomes 0, B dot DL becomes equal to B DL cos theta. I'm not skip one step, so this you can write that one. What is that equal to? Is it will be B DL cos theta. And cos theta is equal to 1 everywhere, so B can come out. What is this one? It is nothing but DL. DL is scalar quantity, magnitude. What is summation of DL is equal to 2 pi r. So line integral of B magnetic field at a distance r over this loop is equal to B into 2 pi r. What has that to be equal to? That is equal to mu naught into current. Current enclosed by this area. What is the current which is piercing through this area? Current which is piercing through is current I, and which direction is positive? Dot direction is positive. So I will take this current as positive is equal to mu naught I. So what is B equal to? B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Anyone has any question on this?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, you said owing to symmetry, the field will be tangential, right, sir?
Yes.
I didn't quite get that point, sir.
See, if I take a small element here also, okay, due to a small element we have done earlier also, this R vector.
Yes, sir.
We know the field is perpendicular to R vector or not?
Yes, sir, it is.
It is perpendicular. So why it is tangential? Because it has to be perpendicular to the position vector. Is it not? This is the position vector of the point. Okay. And see, symmetry is something, but do you get a proof of symmetry? No. The proof of symmetry means just a second. Yes. So somebody has a query on this?
Sir, so the field won't be in the plane of the.
Okay. First of all, is it easy to infer which direction the field will be? First, this is the long current element. We have done some symmetry in case of line charge. It does infinite line charge. How did we conclude in case of infinite line charge that at any point, if this will take point P, how did we conclude the field will be perpendicular? Because symmetry, if we take two elements, one creates field like this, other also create like this, and resultant will be along this. Here also, if I keep taking symmetrical element. One I have taken element, I have given a proof. This I take a small element, which direction the field will be? Field will be in the same plane and tangential. How about other elements also? If I take this element, if one element, the field is like this, okay. So here also, if we take another element also, and we take corresponding element here, what you'll find in this case also, whatever component they have perpendicular to plane, that will cancel out on only component which along the plane will remain, and it will be
Okay.
perpendicular to R. So it is something that if you take a small element, you can prove that point. But if you start proving, that the benefit of Ampere's law is lost. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir, I
only thing I
understand.
can check if I took a symmetry, what kind of symmetry it is. This is like a cylindrical symmetry. If it is cylindrical symmetry, any point lying on the cylinder will have almost the same property. Is this a cylindrical symmetry? Is the line charge is a cylindrical symmetry or not?
Yes, sir.
If it is cylindrical symmetry, so if you take cylinder, I think this we did in case of line charge also. If you take a cylinder, if something it has cylindrical symmetry, the properties at all points, whatever magnitude you have one point on the surface of the cylinder, other point also will have something similar. So if it makes an angle theta here, here also it has to make an angle theta. And if it is tangential here, here also it has to be tangential. And if it is magnitude is B here, here also it has to be B. That's a implication of symmetry. Okay, so basically this is something, okay, we conclude or we can, okay, this is not a point which has many applications. So this is a tangential, so we calculate, it comes into, and this formula we already know. So what is the value of B we arrive at? We arrive at mu naught equal to mu naught I by 2 pi. Okay. What is more useful is something cylindrical symmetry is something like this. Suppose we have long cylindrical wire. In previous case, was this wire a cylindrical? Is this also cylindrical? But we have assumed the radius to be too small to be of any meaningful value. Here we are taking the radius is not too small. So this also appears like a cylinder, but what is the length of the cylinder? This is also going up to infinity, bottom also is going to infinity. So field due to a long cylindrical wire of radius r. This R radius is R. It is carrying current I uniformly distributed over its cross section. And let's assume the current is flowing in upward direction. This is like a thick cable kind of thing. This is how the current is flowing along. So can we find field at a point P which lies first? Let's take a case which lies within this cylindrical wire. Can we find field at point P? Can you all give a couple of minutes? Can you calculate field by applying Ampere's law? How do you calculate field? What should be step 1? Gayatri, can you calculate field at point P which lies inside the wire, spherical wire? And if you're interested, many times maybe it makes sense to draw on one more figure. What is one more figure? View from the top. If I view from the top, this is how it will look like. This is cylindrical cross section. And this is the point P which is lying at a distance is small r. And radius of the wire is capital R. So we are first finding out for the case when r is less than capital R. The distance of the point from the axis of wire is less than the radius of the wire. Gayatri, can you find field at point P? How would you go about finding? How would you start? What should be the step 1 to find field at point P? Gayatri, any clue? No idea. Khyati?
Sir,
Can you think of some method to find field at point P, magnetic field at point P, similar to what you had done in the previous sheet?
sir, we'll find the what is that? The curve.
First, we need to define a curve. Now, we have to define a loop. What loop should I define here?
So the one with the point P.
No, it has a point P
Pass-
must lie on the loop. And can we take a random shift? Which shape of the loop we will take? A circular.
Circular.
And so what is shown in the dotted line? The dot, we take a circular loop with the same center such that point P lies on the loop itself. And so we consider a closed loop of radius r passing through P with current wire as its axis. So where is the current wire? Current wire is the axis of the cylinder, and this is same. Okay. Now what should we do next? I apply this formula. Once I have loop, I can use this formula. Application is this: B dot dl is equal to mu naught into I enclosed. What is enclosed here? What should the next step after defining the loop? What should this step 2? Kathy, what do we do? How do we find B dot dl? What is B dot dl? We divide this whole loop into small pieces. So first we need to understand, we need to define the direction. But what I taken in the loop also, do I want to go in the clockwise direction or do I want to do in anti-clockwise direction? So typically we define what? I choose as anti-clockwise direction. So which loop? What is the direction of dl vector? If I take a small vector dl here, which direction the dl vector is? This is the direction of dl vector. And field also, in this case also, field also is in the same direction. So every element, so I do understand every small element we'll take, everywhere angle between dl vector and b vector will be 0. And b vector, do we know that it has to be along, it could have been, it is tangential, we can infer. But do we know it has to be up or down? We don't know. But we can assume one direction and then calculate. If b comes positive, it means our assumption was correct. If b comes negative, assumption was wrong. So in this case, I assume this b to be this direction, b is direction in this direction. So what is b dot dl? So b dot dl, if I write, it is equal to, for all element, this becomes equal to b into dl cos theta. And since I have taken the loop, because of symmetry, everywhere cos theta is equal to 1, it becomes equal to 1. B is magnitude is same, it becomes b dl.
We were getting the same thing, sir.
Yeah, no, it is not coming same thing. Let's look at this. Let's see where the difference comes in. Where the line integral, no
Current will shift it.
huh?
Current will change, right, sir?
Current will be R by R into.
R by R square into I.
Yes. So that's what the difference comes in. Okay. So when we take current inclined, we have to take current passing through this area. So let's do that part carefully now. And so there's something, some of you can spot that one. Owing to symmetry, magnetic field B at all points on the circle and will be tangential and of the same magnitude. Okay. This is a field which is tangential at all points. As anti-clockwise positive, current out of the plane will be positive. Angle between dl and corresponding b is 0. So again, this term is same. B dot dl comes equal to b into 2 pi r. Now, what is the current enclosed here? So current enclosed is equal to current per unit area into this area. So how do you find current? Current enclosed here. Current enclosed is equal to what? Current enclosed is equal to current per unit area into the area. Would we include this current? No, only this part of the current I need to include. So what is the current per unit area? Total current is I and it is uniformly distributed over the surface I by pi r square. And this area is equal to pi into small r square. That's the term we write here. So this is current enclosed. This is curve per unit area into the area. So what is B comes equal to mu naught I into small r divided by 2 pi r square. Tejas?
Sir.
Understood?
Sir, I got it, sir.
Okay. So if you understood, tell me one more thing now. So suppose I want to draw, we have done this something earlier also in some other chapter. So on x-axis, what I have written? R, and y-axis I have written. Tejas, what does this term, what BR indicate here?
Magnetic field at
Distance R from the center.
yes.
So can you tell me, so this formula what you derived is only valid for what case? It is only valid for
R less than the big R.
R less than R. So I can, this curve is valid only up to this point. To which point R is equal to capital R. Can you tell me what will the shape of this? How would B vary with R? What will the shape of the curve?
Linear, sir.
Linear. Is 0, it will increase linearly from here to the surface. Where else we have seen a similar kind of field variation, linear variation? Have you seen linear variation of field elsewhere, somewhere else?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Where?
Inside a solid non-conducting.
Solid, not handy. Where else? Gravitation.
Great.
Gravitation also same thing. How does field vary inside the surface of Earth? It varies linearly. And the distance at half the radius of Earth, g will become g by 2. At a point which is at a 1/10 distance as the radius of Earth, it becomes g by 10, and likewise. This is how field vary. This is for what will happen. Suppose I change the next point P, which is outside. So I have taken next point, which is R is equal to greater than kisma. R is greater than R now. What will the field at this point now? How would you calculate? What will the field at a point outside? So we have done point inside. Let's do the point which is outside. So suppose I want to find field at point P, which is outside. And here also if I mark, where is this point P? The P is point outside. So which distance is R? Now this becomes my R value. So what kind of loop I'll take? Again, I take a similar kind of loop. So what change will happen in this formula? Now I'm doing for R greater than Karthikeya.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how to calculate field at a point which is outside the cylindrical current carrying wire at this point P? How would you calculate? This method we have done it for point inside. What changes will happen if the point lies outside? Will this term change?
What? We have to take a circular.
We have taken a circular loop. We have to take a circular loop passing through point P. Hence, the radius of the circular will become equal to the distance of the point from the center, which is equal to R. Then we have taken direction. Let's again take the direction to be anti-clockwise, and this is B vector. B is always tangential. So what we have to do when it integrate, we have to integrate this term here. What would this term come to? B dot dl for this point now. How much it will come to? Will it come something same, or will it come different value? Karthikeya.
So come different value.
Why it will come different? Tell me, what are we evaluating? We are evaluating B dot dl. You understood what does BL mean? So I am just divided this whole loop into several small pieces. And each one is a dl kind of thing. And what is the direction of dl vector? It's a vector quantity. Which is the direction of dl vector? Along the tangent. And what will the direction of B at every point, Karthikeya?
The tangential.
Tangential. So everywhere angle between them is, so when we write integration, I can write rather than dot product, I can write in terms of magnitude, B into dl into cos theta. If it is tangential, what is cos theta equal to? Cos theta is equal to 1. How do we find this value now? What is B dl? How do we evaluate this, Karthikeya? This is what we have to find. For what? Over a path which is circular. I have to find this expression for this entire circular path. What should I do next, Karthikeya?
Equate it to mu naught into.
No, that will come later. First, I have to equate this. Mu naught equation come later. First, I need to evaluate this term. What can I do next?
Length is 2 pi into radius.
No. First thing, what has to happen? I can take B out of this. Why can I take B out?
Because it's same everywhere.
Same everywhere. No, so because of symmetry, all points are equidistant. So everywhere value of B is same. B can be taken out. That's the addition of all small length, which is nothing but perimeter. So will it come same or different? It comes to same expression. Only thing what happens, earlier value of R may be smaller, now value is larger. But still, it's R being the distance of the point, it comes same. Now equate to mu naught now I. What will be this term? Will this term remain same? What is the current enclosed? Earlier the current enclosed was only this area. Now what is the current enclosed when you take this loop here? Is the current enclosed equal to total current, or it is only the part of the current, or more than this current I? What is the current enclosed?
Total current.
Huh?
Total current.
Total current. And so what will happen? This term will remain same. Which will change? This term is mu naught I. And then this expression comes equal to mu naught I by 2 pi R. Does this expression make sense?
Yes, sir.
Then it's the same thing in Gauss law. It doesn't matter what the radius is. If entire thing is inside, the field created by a cylindrical wire is same as a thin wire if the current is same. It doesn't matter what this capital R is. If this R, if we increase it also, the current close remains same. So this expression is same as the line charge. So if I draw the curve of how would field vary at the distance r, this is how the field will vary. We have seen earlier from here to here it will vary linearly. From here onwards it will decrease as 1 by r. So what will the field? So that's the we can calculate. Shweta? Shweta?
Sir,
Anything going into the head?
yes, sir.
Okay. You understood both the difference? Yeah. See, suppose I ask you tomorrow, would you able to evaluate this expression, Shweta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's the second part. It comes to same. That's what we are discussing. And will be 0. And this is exactly same as line wire shaft. Okay, the one small part left is coaxial. Have you seen some of the coaxial cable? But let me define. I think maybe you will do it later. Coaxial cable is something. It has a solid inner core. So inner core is like a cylinder. And let's say this has a small radius R1. And then the space, and then outer. What is this? What is this shape? You see in the shade area. How would define this shape? It's a concentric hollow cylinder of some thickness. And what is the radius of thickness? So there's a core which is a solid cylinder enclosed by concentric hollow cylinder. What happens in case of coaxial cable? If current flows in one direction along the core, through the casing, it flows in the opposite direction, so that entire loop can be completed. That's what coaxial cable is, and coaxial cable is very commonly used. So coaxial cable is composed of a cylindrical core surrounded by hollow spherical shell. If current flows in one direction along the core, it returns along the other direction through the casing. That's what it is. So current I flows through the inner core in one direction and returns through the hollow cylindrical casing in the other direction. So if I look from the top, how would this look like? This is something, how would it look like? Yeah, it will look like this is something, this is cylinder here and surrounded by a casing. So here also what I can do with the current is I flowing, I can find there are 3 different regions. What are value of R? If this is R1, there are 3 reasons. R less than capital R1. That is means point is within the inner cylindrical core. Second thing is R between the cylindrical core and the casing. And third case, R is greater than R2. What will the field in this case? So all of you think it over, and maybe we'll discuss in the work session. And this something doesn't require new derivation. What we had done in previous sheets, if you try and understand, we can easily infer what is the field in these 3 cases. Okay, so I'll end the session here. Time is up, and all of you can think it over. And maybe we'll discuss in the work session. I'll discuss tomorrow also in the class. And in the meantime, you can also think, how would we, based on previous calculation, if we understood previous part, from that part, we can easily infer what this should be.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, in the expression, we only take current passing through the